Yeah, I'm Paul Mealor, I'm a composer, and also I'm Professor of Music at the University of Aberdeen in Scotland. Well, it started with a spiritual experience. When I was a child, I was 9, and my brother's much older than I am, and he was supposed to be looking after me, and we were out by a river on Anglesey in Wales, where I grew up. I couldn't swim at this point, and I fell into the river because he'd gone upstream on a canoe, and I'd fallen into the river and was drowning. And as I was drowning, I realised that I was dying, and at that point I surrendered to death, which is a very unusual thing. When I tell this story, loads of people say that they've had the same experience or similar, and at that moment a great warmth came over me that I've never felt since, as if death was not such a bad thing, not a thing to worry about. At that point I was rescued. As you can see, I survived and was resuscitated. At that moment I said to my parents, after I was taken back, that I wanted to find out what that warmth was. And the only thing that we could do at that point was go to the local church, which was an Anglican church, an Episcopal church. And when I walked in, the choir was singing "CC, the Word is Incarnate" by Gibbons. And I knew at that point that's where this warmth was taking me. Yes, absolutely. The Passiontide symphony is very much come out of those experiences. I've wrote it over an enormous amount of years. Most of my kind of thinking adult life, this piece has been going on in the background. And so almost all of the piece is a search for that warmth that I discovered at that point in my childhood. And to try and find a harmonic warmth, of course you can never find the warmth that comes so close to that, but you try your best. Yeah, I mean, one of the luckiest things of my life is getting to travel around the world, and here I am in this beautiful country. And I had a great privilege a number of years ago now, to go to Canada, to Jasper National Park in the Canadian Rockies. And whilst there, 2 friends of mine, Russ and Joanne Mann, who put me up in a log cabin whilst I was there, took me to witness an avalanche, which I'd never seen before. And the thing that struck me about an avalanche is that you don't hear anything. You just see it, and you're expecting, just like when we see a movie, there's always sound to everything. But actually in real life, it's not like that. And so I was sitting, looking at an avalanche on Mount Edith Cavell, and seeing it all fall, and then only much later, of course, as sound gets to you, do you actually hear it. And I was struck by that what I expected and what I actually saw. And so that's found its way. And there are avalanches in this piece. Every now and again, there's these descending patterns which come out of that. Well, I knew that I wanted this great big piece that wasn't a narrative, that wasn't like, it was basically, in essence, a passion. So a bit like the inspiration was the idea of a St. Matthew Passion or a St. John Passion. What I didn't want was the story being told by evangelists and stuff, because Bach had already done that. I wanted to do my own take, which was the swirling around in time. So there's the cross, and then all these people that are involved with it and how it affects them. And so all of that stuff of my learning through Matthias and through looking at the great religious texts led me to these texts that are in this piece. So the greatest, I think, of the most profound visions of the cross is that of Mary, the mother, sat in front of her dying son. I mean, you can't get more of a profound vision in life than a parent losing their child. And so this poem by Jacopine de Todi, or Pope Innocent III, we don't know which one, I think paints the most powerful picture of all of the stages of death, which we now through sociologists understand what they are, and then final to redemption and to final peace at the end of it. And so the Stabat Mater is in its sense kind of swirling around. And so I was drawn to that great poetry. And all of the other ones, in fact an original poem that was written especially for this by Peter Davidson, which is the second part of the Crucifixus, Your Silence is Stillness, are all, I think, great poetry. And I think you can't even begin to tackle writing music unless the poetry itself is solid in its philosophy. Well, here the concert, of course, is the most exciting thing. There's nothing more beautiful than hearing your music come alive with people that are great performers, with people that want to communicate. So that is the most important thing. The second most important thing, which is on my wish list, is I really want to see the Hobbit Town. I've just got to see this, otherwise people will never forgive me if I don't see this whilst I'm here. And also just take in the spirit of the place. I was struck yesterday just walking along the beach. Is it Mission Beach, is it called?
Mission Bay.
Yeah, Mission Bay. And just seeing the spirit of the place, which is very different to where I come from.